While cases of COVID-19 continue to skyrocket, people are being evicted, losing their job, they have no health care, they have no real financial help. Your president, Donald Trump, is hiding out in the White House watching television. It's amazing that he has a cult around him. You would think a cult leader would have to at least do something for people. But no. Hiding out in the White House while people are suffering. And I'll get to more on the data and some images from that suffering in a minute. First here from CNN. Even as Biden carries out daily public appearances focused on governing, Trump hasn't felt obliged to keep pace, though he has watched the former vice president's activities from the White House. Instead, he is spending mornings in the residence watching television, arriving to the Oval Office later in the afternoon and remaining into the evening. He goes back and forth between the office and his adjoining dining room, which is equipped with a large television and where newspapers and magazines are strewn across the table. Your leader, a television addict. Few previous periods in his administration have featured such light schedules. Trump has rarely, if ever, resisted television cameras for this long. His 3 public appearances since November 3rd have amounted to a lie-filled appearance in the briefing room, a rain-soaked wreath-laying at Arlington National Cemetery, and remarks in the Rose Garden about the coronavirus vaccine, all of which ended without any questions. He lost the election. He is refusing to concede. Also won't take any questions about it because he knows he can't actually defend what he is doing right now. So instead, not even showing up, staying in the White House, watching TV. More here from Business Insider. Trump canceled his annual plan to spend Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago as aides describe a bunker mentality in the White House. Won't even leave the White House to go to Mar-a-Lago. Maybe afraid that if he leaves, they'll lock the doors behind him. He's going to have to be escorted out. This deranged child. Here you go. This is capitalism. You know, you hear lines about, oh, there's bread lines in communist countries. This is a capitalist country. These are people lining up for food. This is thousands of cars lined up to collect food in Dallas, Texas over the weekend, stretching as far as the eye can see. This is absolutely insane. Understand, this is not happening in any other wealthy country. The U.S., wealthiest country on earth. But where's the wealth? Not with the people. It's at the very top, the 0.1%. They have all the money. Everybody else struggling for food. Meanwhile, there's a debate about a wealth tax, really? We're debating if there should be a wealth tax when this is society right now. Absolutely disgusting. Other countries had financial help, again, other countries didn't do perfectly. I mean, there are definite holes in the plans from, Canada had $2,000 a month for people, but a lot of students were left behind. Other countries have plans as well. Germany, France actually did have real financial help. Wage subsidy up to 100% of your wages if you work part-time. In Germany, I believe 80 to 90% of your wages covered. They're encouraging you to stay home and stop the spread of COVID-19. But Americans, here they are lining up for food because there is no real financial help for anybody. More lineups here. This is lining up for it's an aerial view of the line at the Los Angeles Dodger Stadium for the drive-through coronavirus testing site in LA. At least people are getting tested. I mean, that's good, I guess. But here you have these many people lined up because they're afraid that they have COVID-19. They're feeling the symptoms, and the cases, as we're going to get to, are just getting worse. This from the CDC. Total cases right now, over 11 million. Total deaths. I know it's hit 250. I've seen headlines on that, but according to the data right here from CDC, maybe a bit out of date, but 247,000 deaths in the U.S. Somebody said the other day, I'm not sure if I read this or I heard this, listened to a podcast or something, but they discussed how Benghazi, there was hearing after hearing after hearing about Benghazi. 4 people were killed. 4. We're talking 250,000 people. Hundreds of thousands of people dead from this virus. Is there going to be the same kind of fight from Democrats against Trump after all of this? No, of course not. Democrats never fight. In fact, Biden has already said he's going to move on. Just like Barack Obama moved on from Bush's war crimes, going to move on from Trump and his inaction and his action when it comes to things like stopping stopping the USPS from sending masks to everybody. But from inaction to action. They're not going to do anything about this. They're just going to let Trump slide, let all this disaster go away, allow Republicans to get away with all of this. People are dying, cases rising, no help coming. This is the situation right now compared to other countries. Daily new confirmed COVID-19 cases per million people. This is the rolling 7-day average. You see here, the uniquely American line. Never got out of the first wave. First wave into a second wave into a third wave that is only continuing to skyrocket. You see here, the UK, their second wave was terrible, but it's leveled off a little bit. Germany, same thing. Canada, same thing. Japan and Australia actually got their shit together. Strong mask mandate. You think of a place like Tokyo in Japan. Densely populated. Very easy to spread COVID-19. But people took it seriously. They wore masks. They distanced. And the cases never got out of hand. Australia as well. They took serious measures when it came to keeping people at home. And they avoided having any sort of serious second wave. But no, this is the American approach. Don't do anything. And just hope things get better. And of course, no real help is going to come until at the earliest Joe Biden, with potentially some executive orders, something being done there. But Trump, of course, is not going to do anything in his time left, as he's just hiding out watching television. This from The Guardian. Over the past 10 months, the world has become familiar with the negligence and disdain for science with which Donald Trump has approached the pandemic. His initial response was stuttering and mendacious. And instead of focusing on spearheading a federal push to control the contagion, he weaponized the debate about masks as a political tool to be wielded as part of his re-election bid. This is so important. There are steps he could have taken, be it with contact tracing, having some kind of federal standards, mask mandate, contact tracing. There are steps that you can do as president. Also, real financial help, real money to these states to be able to help control this, help with healthcare, education. But of course, Trump, all he did the entire time was downplay the pandemic and never offer real help to anybody. What we are seeing unfolding now is potentially far more serious than even the disaster over which he has presided thus far. While the country is being engulfed in crisis, Trump has gone AWOL, the equivalent in a pandemic of Franklin Roosevelt disappearing shortly before D-Day. There is no debate about the job Trump has done. It's been completely disastrous.